All right, let's get into our homework.
Remember the homework we were talking about? How do you make the source happy? That's what we were working on yesterday, which is really sourcing, right? So we said there are four ways that you can get at the analysis of a source: through historical situation, audience, purpose, point of view, and then we say, why is that important? Because if we answer why it's significant, why it's important, that helps us get at the analysis. So we kept saying you need to make the source happy. And so you did that. You turned in a great bunch of homework, and Katie and I went through and selected some samples for you.
All right.
Here's sample number one. It's sourcing, and this one is getting at historical situation. This is from Chelsea, Murrieta Mesa High School in Murrieta, California. They're the home of the Rams. And I was mentioning to Katie before we went live, I said, we got stuff from Murrieta Mesa High School last year. So great job, you guys. I hope this is helpful. It begins, the illustration in document 2 portrays 2 German Jesuit astronomers viewing the cosmos through a telescope. That is our topic sentence. Remember, we're looking at that T structure. So on the right-hand side, topic sentence, evidence, and analysis. And so that's our topic sentence. One thing, Chelsea, is, and you do it later, so it works out great, is we want to always make sure we kind of introduce our mini argument as we're starting the paragraph. We'll continue. Although Catholic advocates, Jesuits contradicted theories against the church's claims, such as heliocentrism and evidence denying perfect heavenly bodies, the image reveals the persistence of curiosity of astronomy due to the historical situation of the age of exploration. So that's how we knew we were doing age of exploration is your historical situation. Sorry, I'm talking so quickly. And influential monarchs such as Henry the Navigator, who advocated astronomy by opening astronomy schools and experimenting on long voyages. So that's some really nice evidence and example that's leading in. So you're going to definitely get credit for using the document there, but now can we make the source happy? So here we go. However, this illustration is important because, oh my gosh, I love that language. It displays the slow deterioration of the church's prestige and validation, such as translating the Bible into vulgar language, the Protestant Reformation, and submission to the Peace of Augsburg, which all counter the church's authority to spew accountable accusations, leading European society to question church assertion, as done by the 2 Jesuits viewing sunspots, Doc 2. So we got a long sentence there, but we do make the source happy. Because when you start with that, this illustration is important because you're cueing yourself and you're cueing the reader. I'm going to do my analysis. And then I put that there. You link it back to that argument. So what is your main argument? Which side of this are you falling on? And you're saying to counter the church's authority. And great job completing the document citation to cue the reader, Doc 2. Really, really nice job, Chelsea. Well done.
Yeah, Chelsea, that was great. All right. Go ahead for this one.
Sample number 2 is about audience. And so we start out, and this is from Mike, and unfortunately, Mike didn't give us his school. So please, when you guys submit a sample, give us your school and your mascot, because we want to give a shout out to you. So it begins, the Catholic Church, although they may have supported some amount of scientific discovery during the 1600s, were ultimately opposed to new ideas in science. So Mike, great job. I know what position you're taking. You've got a great topic sentence. The T structure is working. It continues. The Catholic Church only truly valued scientific discovery when it made no challenge to church doctrine or papal ideas on the universe. The idea that the earth was the center of the universe. And so that's true. Now we're getting into the evidence. This is shown in the letter by Maria Celeste Galilei, a Catholic nun, to her father Galileo, written in 1623. So we've got authorial source, or the attribution going on. Then it says, to begin with, this letter tells Galileo that the church thinks very highly of him, and that even the Pope expresses affection for him and shows him how highly they value his abilities. That is our evidence and the example that was presented in the document. So well done. Continuing, Maria is giving a first-hand account of her experience to her father. That's definitely cueing. I'm talking about audience. So we can assume it is reliable. Her audience for the letter was her father. It was a private letter. So she is more likely to speak freely as she expects it only to be read by her father. The Catholic Church in 1616 had an inquisition that declared heliocentrism to be heretical, and Galileo was banned from teaching or holding these ideas. This directly disputes Maria Celeste's claims in the letter and shows while the Catholic Church did value some views in science, it was heavily opposed to these new discoveries especially the ones that disapprove church doctrine or did not agree with it. Doc 1. Great work. You linked it back to that argument. I love that. And then again, we got in Doc 1 and parenthetical there to cue the reader. Done with that one. Moving on. Great job, Mike.
And very nice, Mike. And before I go on from Mike, you notice these little ellipses there. Mike did way more than he needed to do. And so we had several questions about how many times you need to do this for a particular document. You only need to do one letter of HAP. We had many, many questions after yesterday's video about that. And so some of these are actually cutting out where he did more than was necessary, but I really like the way that you did audience. That was awesome.
Yeah, so right. This would earn the point, and you need to do that on 3 documents, and that would have earned the point you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Katie.
Okay, so this response was from Emma at the Harker School in California. They're the Eagles. And Emma did a really nice job with purpose, and again, started off here with this topic sentence. In 1600s, the Catholic Church was opposed to new ideas in science, which arose from the scientific revolution because it disrupted the traditional view of science that the church had adopted through the introduction of new ways of thinking. Then we move into the specifics about the document. In document 3, the Jesuits of Claremont College in Paris write a critique on Descartes' development in deductive reasoning. And they say that this new way of scientific reasoning disrupts the traditional views that were accepted by the general public, and that they also favor atheists over Christians. All right, so then Emma starts with the purpose. And Todd and I really like that when you're using that language from the rubric, you're using the actual letters and HAP. So the purpose of writing this critique was to let people know that Descartes' new discoveries would destroy everything that had been developed for centuries before. And they specifically mentioned the Eucharist rituals to convince Christians, purpose, that Descartes' deductive reasoning was harmful to their religion. This is important, right? We're moving on to show the significance, and now we're into analysis, because it shows the significance of religion in the scientific revolution, especially the religious resistance that caused suppression of many scientists. And this also shows the strong distaste, we're going back to the argument again, it's really well done, that the church had towards new scientific advances, as Catholic officials preferred traditional order and laws of science over developing scientific discoveries. So that's right in her argument. And then she ended it with Doc 3, which is really nice. So great job, Emma. That was terrific. And then this is from Tanisha, and Tanisha did not provide her school. So a little bit shorter, but it gets the job done. And this is point of view in thinking for this document here. So let's go through it. We have the topic sentence. For the most part, the Catholic Church opposed new scientific ideas because they refuted ancient ideas which Thomas Aquinas molded into supporting Catholicism. According to the Jesuits of Claremont College, Descartes' ideas are distasteful to philosophy, mathematics, theology, and traditional order due to how radical Descartes is. So now it is not surprising that the Jesuits should take this view, given that they are a strong supporter of the Catholic Church, and they were created in 1545 during the Counter-Reformation to encourage Catholicism among people influenced by ideas of the Protestant Reformation. So Tanisha is doing point of view here. I would have maybe liked that language in this sample, but it's clear that that's what they're doing. It's clear that the Catholic Church condemns any view that challenges traditional beliefs sculpted by Catholicism. So we had the topic sentence, we had the evidence, the analysis, and again, the link back to the argument at the end, which just keeps everything really focused. We would have liked maybe to have the document number here, but I don't mind it at the end here, right before we restate the argument. So again, very nice job. Thank you so much for submitting those, but we do want your school so that we can give your school a shout out for your great work.